Hello everyone, it is Grace, and today we are talking about AP scores, specifically AP 2D drawing, art, and design, because that is the better of the two portfolios that I did this year. Now, I was going to film this video when AP scores came out on the 15th, and we didn't. Instead, we went to work, and then 3 days after that, we had our teeth yanked out, so we've been a little preoccupied. But this long overdue video is finally here, and I want to show you guys my portfolio, my ideas, my concentration or sustained investigation, if you want to call it that, and a few tips and stuff as to how I got a 5 on my AP art portfolio this year. So, in case you guys didn't know, as of 2020, the AP art curriculum changed a lot. It went from 12 breaths, 12 concentrations, and I think it was 5 selected works that could come from your breath or your concentration. They changed it to 15 sustained investigations, and then 5 selected work that had to be separate from your sustained investigation. At least that's how my teacher explained it to me, and I absolutely hated it because my junior year I took art and I was playing around with materials and all that jazz, experimenting with subject matters, and I was basically making a huge breath so I could use it for next year. And sadly, I had to scrap pretty much all of that because none of it was focused or had any type of concentration that would work for me or my thought process. So I was kind of pissed. But beyond that, my concentration for my AP 2D design and art portfolio, I guess, was on triptychs. And a triptych is a 3-paneled piece. That's how I understand it, at least. And I mainly chose this because you can basically do anything with a triptych, but at the same time it has specific parameters that keep you bound to those kind of set things. You have to have 3 panels, stuff like that. And I just really enjoyed it. It gave me a lot more freedom than some of my other ideas, and it was a lot of fun when I started it, but it's a triptych, so as I was continuing my concentration, I realized, oh my god, you fool, you have to do 60 pieces of art now instead of 20, and it made things so much harder because having just 3 panels that compositionally made sense, it could stand on their own, but then could also come together as a 3-piece, was just the most stressful thing on the entire planet. On top of that though, I did AP 2D drawing, so I actually had to do 80 pieces. So if it wasn't for, everything that happened with COVID and stuff like that, we probably wouldn't have finished because we were at 16 of the 2D design portfolio, and then I think about 10 for the other portfolio when all the rules changed. So, enough about that. Time to get into the art. So this is the first piece. Here are all the sections because they're not taped, but I'll show you a picture right here. There you go. And if you'd believe it, this was the first triptych that I had ever done, and for the first one ever doing it, I thought, it came out really well. I had been doing nature and I had been doing some trees and stuff, but this is the first time that I incorporated 3 panels as well as water. That's kind of why it looks a little wonky, but I'm not gonna lie, the rest is history, and the concentration came out pretty well, and throughout the rest of the pieces you can definitely see all my growth and kind of where my thought process changed as I continued. So here is the second piece. Once again, they're not taped, but here you go. There it is. Now this piece, I like to call it Deep Orange, and I was basically just experimenting with sunsets and bright, vivid colors. And when I first made this piece, I was thinking I was going to change my concentration to just sunsets or beaches because I seem to have an affinity to them, and then a lot of my other pieces have some correlation to a beach or water or something like that. So that's where like it was heading, and we changed our mind. Triptychs was much better as a concept in my mind, and yeah, I think the colors work really well, and I think it's just a really pretty piece. Again, this is an older piece that I had been working on, and this was more of just an experiment with colors, sunsets, and water again. It was still following when I was thinking about doing beaches and water for my concentration, but you can definitely see that this piece has a different style of water from the first piece, so you can definitely see that there's like an evolution into my style and stuff like that. And honestly, this piece I like just because of the colors. Honestly, I liked the choices, and I thought it was kind of interesting the way I did the mountains, because it was the first time that I've ever drawn like legit kind of mountains. So yeah. Piece number 4 is this one right here. It's actually taped. I don't have to hold it awkwardly or anything. I just hit myself in the face, but that's fine. So this piece, in conception, I was definitely like looking at the crystals like online and being like, that would be a great idea. And because it's me, we of course had to do it in front of water because all my pieces damn near have some correlation to water. But in all honesty, I think this piece is the first piece that I started truly like thinking about like my style with like the bright colors, the way I do water, and starting to develop the way I do rocks as well. And although it's not my favorite piece, it's definitely a step forward to the style of art that I definitely want to do going forward. This next piece is called Nighttime Buzz because they're bees. And the funny story about this piece is that I came up with this piece after I had seen the Odd Ones Out make a video about the spiders and bees, and I just thought that is a great idea, and I started thinking, what flower can I do? I don't know why I chose hyacinths, but we did. It was so hard to draw them, but you know, it came out okay. The background overall is a little boring, but God, the honey came out so well. That's like the one achievement in this piece, just the honey and the honeycombs. Just so cool and almost like surreal kind of, so yeah. Piece number 6 is yet another big piece that's not properly taped together, so I have to awkwardly kind of hold it. And honestly, once again, like I said, I have an affinity for sunsets. I love this piece's colors, and it's just so rich and vivid, and I'm not sure what I was thinking. I was planning on actually making it have hot air balloons and stuff and kind of being like that New Mexico hot air balloon festival, and we decided not to and just leave it as a landscape, which is probably a better decision because I tried to draw a hot air balloon for a different piece and it didn't go too well. So yeah, we left it, kept it nice and simple, but not really, and it's just a fun piece, you know. You can definitely see like the changes that have been made throughout this entire, you know, art journey, how we've kind of become more refined in our style, but also like our compositions are becoming a little bit more complex as we go, so yeah. Yay. This next piece is a little weird because it strays from all my other pieces that were acrylic and stuff like that. This is actually a Prismacolor piece that is taped together, and I called this piece Transience of Life. It has to do with life, you know, and then the sands of time, and then you die and stuff. And I really like the complementary colors in this. I absolutely love Luna moths to death, And I was thinking, you know, these fragile creatures that live for such a short time, you know, they live and then they die, but then I have these pomegranates that are often symbols of like rebirth, reincarnation, and eternal life because of how many seeds they have. I don't know. That's like the concept I had. I don't know if it's conveyed properly in this piece, but it's definitely a very interesting piece. It strays from like what I have done, and I really like that. It's a little bit more ambitious than some of my other pieces, so, you know, different, a little weird, but all the same, still me. So this next piece actually has a video that I made a while ago, as well as the one Mountain at Sunset, I believe. But I love this piece as well. It's just a really cute sunset. It's got poppies. It's just a really nice paradise place, somewhere that I wish that I could be. And it's just super light. All the colors are like hella pastel because, you know, we're soft like that. And this is probably one of my more like refined pieces. It's got like actual depth, you know. It's got like, you know, distance and stuff like that. It's got water, duh. And like, it's just 100% a me piece. Out of all the pieces, I think this is one of the pieces that scream me the most, other than like my selected works, which we will get into because, oh god. So here is the next piece, and basically it's just like a nightscape with a ton of mushrooms. Now, in school, people used to make fun of this piece and say it was about drugs. And it's not about shrooms, it's literally just mushrooms. Chill, everybody, oh my god. But I absolutely love the patterns in this piece. This was my pattern piece that I was like, for my element and principle of design, we were just gonna go all out on the movement, all out on the patterns. We threw everything at a wall, and that's what happened. It came out pretty well, not gonna lie, and I kind of liked how all the panels weren't the same shape. And after that piece, I think I started like experimenting more with different sized panels. Next piece, no, but like my selected works definitely have different sized panels because we got a little experimental. Okay, so this last piece here was really tough because I wanted to put it in my selected work and I didn't. Now, most of you, if you've seen my channel, have seen this piece before because I just posted a video on it. But if you haven't, I'll put a link in the description below. Stuff like that, you know. And I like this piece a lot because the colors because it's got these dark browns and this beautiful pastel, like ombre, and it worked out really, really well. That's all I'm gonna say about it because I really, really want to talk about my selected works. So this is the first selected work, and it's actually my second favorite piece that I did this year. I absolutely love this piece. When I was thinking about it, I wanted to go for a more Asian aesthetic. When I was thinking like Asian maples and cranes, honestly, after like I finished it, it could be anywhere in the world and stuff. But I think the one thing that I love most about this is just the composition works so well. This is the first time that I tried to do these types of mountains, so like they actually came out better than I thought they would. And I love working with primary colors. I just love working with primary colors. Like, I have several pieces at my house that are just pure primary colors. I don't know why, but I just have this connection to red, yellow, and blue, and I love how they turn out whenever I use them together. So, yep, here's the first piece. Now, it's framed because it's been put into several shows, several galleries. I haven't really put it in many like competitions or anything like that, or jury-based shows, but it's been put in several galleries, so, you know, I might do that in the future since it's already framed and stuff like that. So yeah, this one was a lot of fun. So this next piece here, we were definitely being a little bit more ambitious with our colors. I wanted to experiment with black and white as well as colors and how like those two ideas and concepts work together. It is currently a concentration that I'm working on right now where I have like nature, or the nature aspects being like these bright golds, bright pinks and stuff like that, and then the background being all black and white. And I really enjoyed this piece. I love drawing clouds, I love drawing ocean, so this is clearly what we're stuck painting for the rest of our lives. So our last selected work is our absolute favorite piece out of our entire just art career. And it's simple yet complex and just refined, I guess is how I want to say it. It is this piece right here. And I really like this piece because it ties into my Asian culture a little bit. I really wanted to get that like yin-yang kind of aesthetic with these fish, like, you know, black, white, color, no color, and all at the same time it's got just this really nice like symmetry. It's just really cool, I guess. It's a really cool piece. I really like working with black paper. I kind of wish I did more black paper pieces, but I mean, I'm not gonna push it, you know. It's just, even every like panel individually just look really cool as like their own separate entities. And I just love this piece. I could go on about this piece for like a week, talk about like, you know, the symbolism to me and why I like koi fish and stuff. But we're not gonna do that. This is the last piece. I love it, and we're just gonna set it down now. So that was my AP art portfolio in its entirety. It came out so well. I am like so happy. Even when you lay them all out on the floor, they like work really well together, like as each cohesive piece comes together, stuff like that. And usually when I do art, at least, I'll draw something and when I'm done I'll be like, that looks kind of like shit. But this actually worked. So it's my like magnum opus of art or something. I don't think I'm using that word right. It is like my like achievement in life until something new happens. But enough with that. I wanted to give some advice about how you can go about your own AP art portfolio because of all the changes and stuff like that. And I want to start off by saying you should very much so pick a concentration that is right for you. It should be somewhat specific, it should be somewhat broad, and it should be something that you semi-enjoy at least. Because with those three things, it should be broad enough that you can make 15, 20 pieces, but it should be specific enough that it can be considered a concentration. I can attest to this because my light concentration for my AP2D drawing became so broad when I started doing it that I was drawing like stoplights, I was drawing like symbolic lights, I was drawing scientific lights, I was like pulling out random shit like, oh, this is symbolic of light because there's a shadow, and like, oh god, it was just so bad. Pick something that you can focus in on but stay broad enough that you can do 20 pieces. Going on with that, you know, it should be something that you enjoy. I love drawing triptychs and I love drawing like landscapes. So if you love, say, drawing light bulbs, do it. It should be something that you enjoy doing. Like, I didn't draw a single person in this portfolio. And I know that a lot of people will draw people in portfolios because they're highly technical, but I didn't do that because I know that I wouldn't be successful and I wouldn't like it. So choose something, you know, that you love. Advice number 2 would be mindful of what you're writing, because for all of these, if I'm not mistaken, you had to write like a little excerpt about each and every one of your pieces. Like you had your blurb about your concentration, and that should be meaningful. It should relate to your art pieces, and it should be something that like the writing should reflect what's on your art, you know? Your mind on the paper to words. That's how it should be. But for each of these pieces, you also had to write like little objectives. So like for this piece, I said something about symmetry, Asian culture, and I think I was talking about empty space and stuff, you know, getting all of those principle and elements of design, composition aspects, you know, to kind of just make it sound more refined. Or, for example, the one about life and the transience of life, I explained why I added moss and pomegranates, you know. You have to be kind of mindful so that the actual person reading this can understand what your thought process was when you were, you know, making the art, because art is super subjective and stuff like that. I think I'm using the right word, let's hope. But like if you don't explain like, oh, it meant this to me, and stuff like that, then like when the grader comes and looks at it, they might get a different impression of the art piece than what you did. Tip number 3 is that it's okay to have mistakes in your portfolio, because I think the reason why they did concentrations like this was because they really want to see your evolution through your art. They want you to start with a concentration, maybe something random, maybe something that you're familiar with, start it out, maybe your pieces look like shit at the beginning, but they want to see that progression. Like it should still be like these professional, refined pieces to the best of your ability, but because you're doing that same concentration, you should be able to see that growth as you go. And you want to have that growth in like every piece. You want to start from 0, go all the way up, and show that all the way through your portfolio, because that shows that you are both mindful and also like you understand the artist's process. That it's okay to make mistakes, and maybe some of your mistakes work well. So yeah. Okay, so that is everything for me today. I gave a little bit of advice, probably not the best, but you know, it will give you an idea. There's the portfolio, it gives you an idea. You don't have to do people, I know a lot of people do that, stuff like that, you know. And honestly, I had a blast making this video. I think going back and just seeing the evolution and change through whatever you're doing is fundamental and like needed in the human existence. So I always enjoy stuff like this. In the future, you know, I might make an AP drawing video, but we probably won't because that portfolio was kind of a dumpster fire. But, you know, you never know what's gonna happen in life. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, you can leave a like or subscribe to my channel. I'm actually gonna start making real art and real videos. I took like a 3-week break and now I'm back, so excited for that. And I hope all you guys are staying healthy and safe. I'll see you guys in the next video.